You know, I was going to make a joke about this, but then I realized the name isn't Soft and Wet, but instead Soft Scrub.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them!
Okay, it's not that bad. Actually, it's one of my favorite stands. Scratch that, it is my favorite stand within all of JoJo. Not only do I enjoy its design, but its signature ability, Plunder. Well, what does this ability actually do? Soft and Wet's signature ability is to steal something from an object and take it for itself, which works in conjunction with Soft and Wet's bubbles. Josuke can thus steal aspects of properties of inanimate or living things. Wow, that's so cool. What a unique and creative trait. Why, the possibilities are endless. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, no pun intended, but just one fatal flaw to all this. It rarely gets used. There's only a handful, and I mean a handful, literally only 8 instances where this gets used. That's just ridiculous. For a quote-unquote a signature stand ability, we really don't get to see much of it at all. You know, let's have a little fun with this. Let's pinpoint all the instances of Josuke's Plunder ability. Chapter 1, Human Sight. Soft and Wet stole Joshu's sight. It was actually the first use of any stand within Part 8, which is actually really cool. What a great way to start out things, but yeah, it's gonna go downhill real quick. Right afterwards, Chapter 2, stole water from a woman to enable thirst. That was actually probably, in my opinion, the most clever use of Plunder. Now, the most famous example. Within Chapter 5, Soft and Wet steals friction from the floor. This can be depicted within Eyes of Heaven when Josuke uses his dual heat attack. I think that's what it's called. I mean, to be honest, I really should get Eyes of Heaven. It's definitely on my bucket list. Also within this arc, Josuke is seen using Soft and Wet to steal sound from a bathroom wall. During the California King Bed arc, he steals sound from the light switch. Again, creative ways to use this stand's ability. During Chapter 11, Josuke uses this ability to shave. I really like when stand abilities don't necessarily have battle potential, but instead are used for more practical, everyday life sort of situations. Chapter 12 removes cat's fur. Well, I really don't have much to comment. Chapter 16, Smell. Josuke traps an odor into a bubble and has it attached to his foe, born this way. When the bubble bursts, he can track down the stand's user by smell and sound. Finally, within the Love Train arc, he steals screws and nuts to then fire upon the enemy stand user. Okay, sure, a decent, cool amount of examples, but you see an underlining theme, right? I'll give you a few seconds. All of these said examples, except one, occur only within the first 20 chapters. What happened? Did Araki run out of ideas? To be honest, my theory on why we haven't seen the Plunder ability in quite some time is probably that it can be considered broken. What I mean is there really aren't any set rules for certain things, like what is the limit he can steal and for how long can Soft and Wet hold something for. The ability itself is so open-ended that if someone were really creative with it, they could easily break stand fights and pretty much just win every single time, depending on the situation. Also, surprisingly, I can't believe I'm making this comparison, but it sort of reminds me of Whole Horse's stand, where there are no set ground rules, so in actuality, it could be broken, and I believe, among many reasons, this is why Whole Horse did not team up with the Stardust Crusaders. Alright, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but to be frank, I don't think not having enough set rules for a stand is not a good explanation to cut this interesting ability. Araki is an experienced writer. He's been doing it for, I believe, over 30 years. You're telling me, and by the way, JoJoing has been going on for almost 10 years at this point. Like, you're telling me he can't, I guess, fix the stand? Like, I don't see a reason why he has to drop it. Like, it's just really disappointing. And even then, he'd have to have, like, a plan set in mind for Josuke's stand, especially the Plunder ability, because it's so prevalent within the beginning. Literally, I said the first 20 chapters, and then it gets used again around, like, chapter 40, I think. Just a little bit of an update. But while doing some research, scouring through Reddit, hearing people's opinions on the matter, And I found some interesting stuff. Some people actually believe that the ability was nerfed and Plunder is still semi-prevalent, where now Plunder isn't able to steal away abstract concepts like friction or sight, but instead, as seen like with the screws and bolts, he can only steal physical objects now. While this isn't confirmed and is just mere speculation, I still don't feel like this is the true Plunder, if that really makes sense. Stealing small objects is great, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, stealing abstract ideas like friction, as I mentioned before, is just really cool, and that's what really got me interested with the stand itself. I don't know, I just wanted to update you guys on that. Alright, back to the video. Also, to be fair, it's really common for this sort of thing to happen within JoJo. I feel like every single part, there's always, especially the main character, right? There's always a stand ability, like one of the abilities of such stand that gets left out. Do you guys remember Giorno's gold experience ability where your senses go mad lad crazy? This was prominently used in the beginning when Giorno and Bruno were having their first, I guess, and only fight on the train. And then afterwards, that ability just slowly phased out. Okay, another example. Alright, actually, everybody remembers this instance. Man, I really miss Starfinger. Within these examples, there's one thing to remember. History typically repeats itself. And the fact that JoJolion, as I mentioned before, has been going on for almost 10 years, the beginning of the part really is different to where it is now. And I highly doubt the Plunder ability is going to make a grand, cool return. Josuke, as of now, really most of the time just aura barrages his enemies, which is great, but you know, still. Also, at one point he did use like a big bubble as like this crazy shield, which I actually really enjoyed. In addition, his bubbles have been seen to create damage upon his enemies, so again, that's fine, but all these examples just can't beat Plunder. But at the end of the day, who knows what can happen within JoJolion? It is picking up speed as we are getting into the climax of part 8. And Araki, at this point, has been known to make great surprises, even within this part. And these surprises include returning ideas. But anyway, guys, what do you think about all this? Do you like Soft and Wet the way it is now? Do you miss the Plunder ability like me? Do you even think that Plunder will make an epic grand return? Please voice your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like more, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like the video, all that jazz, and go ahead and check out my art Instagram and my Twitch down below. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. I 100% appreciate you guys tuning in, and have a wonderful day.